Association of Nigeria. We started on a very high note on Tuesday. We had an excellent time yesterday. And to the glory of God, we are wrapping up something so important and dear to us today. And I want to assure you that everything we do today would be certainly value for time. We sincerely appreciate you and thank you for being very, very punctual. Now, we will do something very significant this morning, and I want you to play along with me. Now, usually, when you want to introduce yourself, you probably would say, good morning, I'm the MD of ABC Company, I'm the CEO, I'm the CFO, I'm the DG of this. But we won't be doing that. So you are going to introduce yourself to the person seated to your right and to your left, describing what you do in one sentence. So let's do a test run for you. Hi, Nanzin. My name is Omotayo. I create memories for a living, and I help to create public image for individuals, corporate bodies, and for products generally. So did we get that? So you are describing yourself to the person and not necessarily saying you are the MD of this. So Nancy, could you introduce yourself to me?
Thank you, Moti. And then from her description, I think I can guess you are the PRO for man.
All right,
or
great.
You are a public image maker for an organization.
Right, so
let me try. My name is Nanzin Rimdan. I'm a chief administrator and I drive the policy and advocacy for businesses in Oyo, Osun, Ondo, and Ekiti states.
All right, so that's a good try. All right, so could we see you do that to your neighbor? Just introduce yourself, describing what you do to the person seated. If nobody is seated close to you, please, you could stand from your seat and just introduce yourself. Let's do that very quickly.
Good luck.
And if you need ChatGPT to help you do that, you could quickly Google.
So people need help going online to find out who they are. You can describe yourself, I believe.
Why I had to do that is because as manufacturers, we are solution providers, we are problem solvers, and sometimes we are not very conscious of how much value we bring to the economy. And so it's good for us to remind ourselves that beyond being an MD, this is the solution I bring to the fore. If you're into furniture manufacturing, you help create the mood and create people's experiences with the furnitures that you provide. So this is what you do, and we indeed value you for all the contributions you bring to the world. Having said that, can we please put your hands together for ourselves? Please, let's put our hands together for ourselves, because if we do not celebrate ourselves, the world really would not know how much value we bring to the fore. All right, before I just go to acknowledge our dignitaries, in fact, everyone seated in this room, we value you, we thank you, and we're indeed very happy to have you. But we'll just mention a few just because of our time. For those who are coming to this hall for the first time, this hall has three exits basically. We have one on my immediate left, another one on the near left, and the last one on the extreme left. And so if you'd like to use the convenience, there is the convenience just by the immediate left. You find the gents and the ladies. And to avoid distractions and any form of distractions really during the course of the event, would like for you to kindly put your phones on silence or vibration mode so as not to disrupt the flow of the event. We are very intentional, as our team says, imperatives of intentional development of the Nigerian manufacturing sector. So first, I'd like to acknowledge a very intentional man who intentionally appears in a white attire and is one loved by many. Please put your hands together for the President, Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, Otunde Francis Meshoye, OFR.
You are highly welcome, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. We are happy to have you. All right, sir. And next on the acknowledgement list, I'd like to acknowledge the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy. And he's here represented by the Director from the Finance Ministry. Please, a round of applause for Director Technical Service, Federal Ministry of Finance, Bashir Abdulkadir. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. You're welcome. And moving on, we have former presidents in our midst, and we are always delighted to have them. First, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of former president who was with us in the room yesterday, and we're glad that he's here with us yesterday. Former President, Ambassador Hassan Adamu, Wakili Adama. Please, a round of applause for him. Ambassador
welcome, sir.
Hassan Adamo,
In all
CON.
your regality.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you. And so I just want to switch them so that we could save time. Next up, I have the honor of acknowledging another former president, and we are very pleased to have him in our midst. Please, a round of applause for Engineer Mansour Ahmed, OFR. Thank you so much for sparing your time to be with us. So I move on to this point, and I have the honor of acknowledging a one-time Minister of Industry, a former president of this association. Please, distinguished guests, put your hands together for Chief Kola Jamodu.
You're very welcome, sir.
CFR. Well, it's not so bad if you have a GCON, but for now, CFR. Please, a round of applause for him as well. And next to a former president, I am deeply delighted to welcome the honorary treasurer of this great association. Please put your hands together for Reverend Isaac Agoye. Thank you so much. And close to the honorary treasurer is the director general of this association. A round of applause for Shegu Ajayi Kadri, MNI.
You're most welcome, sir.
You're most welcome, sir. And to the back, we have, I want to be sure, is this Indian or Egypt? All right, thank you so much. So I have the honor of acknowledging the presence of the head of the Egyptian Commercial Office in Lagos. A round of applause for Mr. Amer Atlantway. A round of applause for him. Thank you so much. Sir. We're happy to have you. And seated close to him, but not immediately, is the Director General of the Raw Materials Research Development Council, Professor Ian Lego Martin Ikemonso. Thank you so much. We're happy to have you. And behind the president of this association is our own and also a friend of the house. He's no other person than the president of NECA, that is the Nigeria Employment Consultative Association, Dr. Ifeanyi Okoye, MNI.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you, Mr. President. You're very much welcome. And also, just 2 seats after him is the Vice President Lagos Zone of this great association. A round of applause for Prince Felix Oba Okoji.
You're most welcome, my VP.
Thank you so much. We're happy to have you, Mr. Vice President. And the Vice President, Kaduna Northwest of this association, a round of applause for Engineer Ilyas Saleh. Thank you so much. And seated close to him is the Vice President of the Eastern Zone. Please put your hands together for Engineer Chief G. Masari. Thank you so much. You're very much welcome. As we get older names, we will do well to acknowledge our distinguished guests. But thank you, the guest lecture, right? And so we save the very best for the last. Distinguished guests, let's put our hands together for the Executive Director and Chief Investment Officer of the African Finance Corporation, Sameh Shinoda. A round of applause for him. Thank you so much. He's here representing our distinguished guest speaker. While he's not here, the Director General will do further explanation, but we are indeed very happy to have you. And we look forward to your lecture, actually. So please, let's be on our feet now as we take the national anthem to start the program. You please have your seats. God bless Nigeria and God bless the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria. The representative of the Honorable Minister, Federal Ministry of Finance, and the Coordinating Minister of the Economy, the President of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, members of the Executive Committee, members of the National Council, manufacturers in the room, gentlemen of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
All right, thank you. I was waiting for that feedback. And just in case I make further mistake, just blame it on the excitement. It's the 3rd day, and so we're allowed to be so happy for a successful event which started on Tuesday, and we're having the grand finale today. At this point, Nanzin would tell us what will come in next, and we move on with other items.
Thank you, Omotayo. And thank you for being a wonderful audience. At this point, not to waste more time, we'll just call on our very own president, Otumba Francis Meshoe, to give his welcoming address. Thank you.
A round of applause.
Please, a round of applause as he walks off stage. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you, sir. All right, when we started, I told you that we would have more people to acknowledge. We didn't intentionally skip the name. We're just trying to maximize time and ensure that we get value for our engagement here. And so, distinguished guests, I have the honor of acknowledging the presence of the representative of the Executive Governor of Cross River State. In our midst, we have the Honorable Commissioner for Ministry of Commerce, Cross River. Please, a round of applause for Dr. Mrs. Abigail Duke Orok. Thank you so much, Ma. We appreciate you. And we love the fact that you are Honorable Minister of Finance. Thank you for that address by the Minister, Mr. Bashir Abdulkadri. Thank you so much. And I hope you know that you'll be coming back next time to speak to us more on, just after the guest speaker has spoken, on what the government has in store or what the ministry is really doing to ease the work of manufacturers. Please, distinguished guests, give a round of applause for him once again. All right, more messages from the government. Before I invite, I just would like to give a good warm greetings from the President of MAN. He actually said you gave him his word when he was in Calabar, and you said you were going to come, and he's indeed glad that you made it here. So he's saying a big thank you to you, and he appreciates your presence. So distinguished guests, for the goodwill message, let's put our hands together for the Honorable Commissioner, Ministry of Commerce, Cross River State, Dr. Abigail Duke Orok. A round of applause for her for the goodwill message. Has been the subject of conversation since we started with the first day. The theme is so instructive, and it gives for us to ruminate on what the future for the manufacturing sector is as we examine the imperatives of intentional development of the Nigerian manufacturing sector. The association was very intentional with the choice of guest speaker that we had to beckon on the African Finance Corporation to speak to us on this topic and see how we could deliberate on this together and possibly find a way forward for the manufacturing sector. So I have the honor of reciting the profile of our distinguished guest speaker. Of course, you were earlier notified, who is here represented by someone who will deliver an excellent lecture at this event. Please put your hands together for the Executive Director and Chief Investment Officer, African Finance Corporation, Samer Shinalda. A round of applause for him as he comes to represent our guest speaker at this event, Mr. Sumaila Zubairu. Please, a round of applause for him. Thank you so much. Thank you, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I'm not trying to cajole you, but I want us to give a resounding applause to the Director General of MAN. Thank you so much. He indeed deserves an applause. We thank God for MAN because we have a very admirable man as the president. But at the Secretariat, the Director General is very much hands-on to ensure that all of this we have today is as a result of him steering the ship. And we say thank you to the president, and we say a very big thank you to the Director General as well. Please, a round of applause for both of them. Thank you so much, and congratulations for a successful annual general meeting. Having said that, I'd like to reiterate again that we would sit calmly to have our lunch just like we did yesterday. And we would do that by showing our meal ticket when the ushers come to usher our table to the point of service. While we are seated, the presidents would lead other dignitaries to tour the exhibition area. Then others would remain here so that we can have our lunch calmly and peacefully. After the tour of the exhibition area, the president, DG, and special guests will go to a special place which we prepared for their lunch, just like they did yesterday.